I was called a nigger before I knew what racism was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So in what context though? So when you say, is this playing football? Is this at school? Is this
now? This
walking?
is walking down the street, people shouting it out the car.
Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to another episode of the Prime Life Project podcast. I'm your host, Daniel James, and today I'm joined face to face by Jay Little. Jordan, how are we?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. It's taken us a long time to get this arringed. You had COVID.
Well, do you know what? So, funny story about that. So, first and foremost, it came about in the worst way possible. Like a new colleague that started at my work on a first day went home ill and sadly passed away the following Friday, and they believed it to be COVID related. Rest in peace to Michelle first and foremost. I actually only got to meet her one time as well.
And that's where I came from. So when you had COVID, it was from that.
So the following Monday, because I'd been in the office all week, but it was the day after that she'd actually been in the office. So I wasn't in on that day, but I was there the rest of the week. And then Monday morning, woke up with a sore throat and whatever. So I just told my boss, and then she was like, get your PCR test done. So I did it, and the results never came back. So I had to go and do another one on the Saturday. Then I got the results the same day, which was negative, thankfully. But,
better be safe than sorry.
Yeah. But obviously, it all came about probably a bit of paranoia more than anything, just due to the fact that what had happened a couple of days before was.
Well, I said no. I appreciate that. And it's also a case of obviously we don't know each other. So imagine if you come here, you're not sure, and then you'll feel guilty if something happens. Obviously, the coaches in the gym. So no, like like that. I think you've got to definitely be sensible with it. We're just laughing because obviously I just come from a therapy session that day. So I came from a therapy session, like 4 or 5 hours, and I come in, and then obviously on the drive down here, Mikey's like, "Oh, it's all right. Like me and you can record a podcast."
Yeah.
So Mikey then grilled me. That was the last podcast that just came out. Mikey then grills me about my story. So I basically had like 6 hours worth of therapy in one day, and I left, and I was absolutely drained. I was like, "Oh my god." But also, I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today. Like, don't really know where we're going with this. But they're sometimes my best episodes. But it's more a case if I heard you on Mikey's podcast, and whenever Mikey recommends a guest to me, I'm like, it's going to be good because the circles that Mikey goes in, obviously you're a Nottingham local as well. So just want to give me a bit of a background about who you actually are, like how you've gone on this sort of journey, because you're a very in-tune person, like just how you present yourself, again, listening to your music and stuff like that. Like you're a very self-aware person. So just want to give my audience a bit of a background about like a cliff notes of who actually is Jay Little.
Who actually is Jay Little?
It's a deep question, that, isn't it?
It is a deep. Who are you? First of all,
what is the meaning of life?
First of all, I'll get into how I got the name. So it's really simple. And usually people have these like really deep stories or a funny big story. But it was as simple as I was at my cousin's house. I must have been about 13, 14, sitting there. He's making a little beat on his computer. And he's like, I want to start a rap group. And I was like, all right. Then he was like, we're going to call it Robbing the Hood. And I was like, yeah. It's a bit, okay. And he was like, I'm going to be the sheriff. And I was like, right, okay. Then he was like, you should be Little J, as in like Little John. And I went, sounds better the other way around. And that's literally how I got the name.
And then you're Nottingham local as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you from originally?
So I grew up in Stapleford. And when I grew up in Stapleford, like in like the late 80s, early 90s, like areas like that were known for a lot of racism and stuff.
Yeah. Because how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 33.
So you're 1 year older than me?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
So, growing up, like, in that era, around there, it was quite tricky, because I was called a nigger before I knew what racism was. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So in what context though? So when you say, is this playing football? Is this at school? Is this walking?
This is walking down the street, people shouting it out the car, like things like that.
Yeah. Because again, people that don't know that area now, again, it's very affluent in multicultural areas. Like there's loads of different.
Because I moved back there about 4 years ago. So that's where I live at the minute, and it's not too far from where I grew up. And I see a lot of black kids in and around the area.
Got a lot of Asians around that area. Massive cultural background there.
My neighbours are Asian as well, so it is very different now to how it was. But it was tough. It was tough growing up, because like my black side of the family was in like Hyson Green, and so like going to my grandma's and stuff like that was a bit it's almost like a bit of respite almost. You know, like when I got to a certain age where I was like, I don't really feel comfortable around where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So like being around like my black family and stuff, it was almost like a bit of respite. But I went to Bramcote Park School.
Yes.
And
is that in Bramcote? I know it's Bramcote. It's the one by the Leisure Centre.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know, This Is England, the film. Literally, I used to on my walk to school, literally across the road, the shop that these rob on the film. Was the shop I used to walk past every day for school. On New Lam Lane. So a lot of it was shot in and around my area. And when I went to school, because obviously I've got 3 sisters. One of them went to the same school as me, so I was already aware that it was multicultural in the secondary school.
Yes.
So like when I was like 10, 11, and it was almost time to go secondary school, I really looked forward to it, because outside of playing football and being around my black friends, like being in my area, I was around my cousins, and like one of my cousins was like very well known in the area, so I kind of got a little bit of a pass certain times. Do you know what I mean? Because I was with Brendan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, outside of football and being in certain circles, I always knew that being in secondary school was where I would thrive, because even growing up like that and stuff, like black culture and black music, fashion, like everything, I was engrossed in that at home behind closed doors. Do you know what I mean? That's
so were you having to put on 2 different personalities then? So when
not necessarily two different personalities, but like I'd have to go and look for my thing.
Yes.
In my own time at home, like, because outside there's nothing for me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, growing up was mad. It was very tough. I remember one time I was like 15, and these times I was up to badness. I dropped out of school and stuff like that. Started smoking weeds and then a little bit of coke and just.
So is it secondary school dropped out?
Yes, dropped out of secondary school. I just stopped going.
Looking back at it now, why'd you stop going? Because it's interesting, obviously, like you and Mikey like sharing the stories of this. And by the way, I had no idea we were going to go down this rabbit hole. Do you know, ever since I started this podcast, I've wanted to have a conversation about racism and people growing up. Genuinely, having a full-blown conversation about this, because as I'm with a gentleman called Cornell, I don't know if you know him, he's a personal trainer at Pure Gym.
See the gains. He bought a car off me a couple of weeks ago.
So I was doing a photo shoot with him.
This must
have been 4 months ago, and we were having a very deep conversation about racism.
He's a nice guy.
And he was brilliant. And he looked at me and he went, I love your perspective on it. I can't remember what I said, but again, I'm very open and talking about it. And because he basically said, I think the question he asked was, some kind of black person be racist or something along those lines. And we're talking about racism of some description. Yeah. And I basically it's all to do with the intent. The intention of what you're saying with this. So we're coming from that angle, and I basically turned around to him and said about this podcast and said, one day, I said, I'll have you come on my podcast. We can have a proper discussion about this, because people don't talk about it. And this was literally, this was our conversation we had. I said, the problem is people don't talk about racism. The white people don't talk about it. The black people don't talk about it. And you've got the people that higher up saying there's issues and problems, yet we're not talking about it. And at no point of you come in here, and I was like, fucking hell, Mike, he's a bit blacker than you said he was going to be. Or at no point have I been like, I'm going to give him a special coffee cup. But it's not about that.
No.
And this is what I said with Cornell. It's about the underlying stuff that make you, for example, feel uncomfortable about going to secondary school. And this is what I wanted to talk about. Not the main stuff that's spoken about. No. I want to go to the stuff that people don't talk about.
Because that brings me to a conversation that I had in and around the George Floyd times, when people kind of felt they had to start being like coming out and being overly vocal about certain things, and like you found like a lot of white people was doing this like knight in shining armor thing, trying to come to black people's rescue and be a voice for people, and it got a little bit boring after a bit. And so I've got one of my best friends. He's been in a 20-odd year relationship with his partner, who's a black woman, and so he lives in Long Eaton. In Long Eaton, there is a black community and there's white community. Like there's a huge black community. So all my people are from over there. So he grew up around a lot of black people, so he kind of understands certain things. But there's things about little nuances of black culture that kind of go without saying, that black people kind of have an understanding over. Like, you know, it sounds bad saying it, but like, you know, like the tardiness, like being late for certain things. But it's not based on just being late for being late. It's little things like we got into a conversation about jobs, and then he was like. Because this all ties into football as well, so I'll get to that bit. So with that, it was like, I don't believe that if me and you had exactly the same qualifications and went for the same job. We've been doing the same thing for the same amount of time. You're not telling me that I would go for the same job as you on the same day, and I'm getting picked because I'm white over you being black. And I was like, it's not necessarily about that, because if that was the case, then I would probably kind of think, if I got a job and we was in that situation that you've just described there, I would think it was more of a box ticking thing, as opposed to, do you know what I mean? But that's that's the train of thought that you have based on all those underlining things. So again,
just to clarify this, so me and you're going for the same job.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like I would get it because I'm white potentially, but then you're thinking if you do get it, you're only getting it purely because it's ticking a box. So really can't win.
As it's
just to clarify,
in that current climate at that time last year, definitely, because a lot of things kind of changed overnight. And then he was kind of breaking down his preparation for a job. And if he said, we both did the same preparation, we both did and I said, right, what do you tell yourself before you go for a job? He was like, what do you mean? And I said, have you ever gone for a job and had to kind of practice how you're going to talk? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, so forget kind of like, you know, the English language and answering questions in a certain way. It's like, how are you going to convey what you're saying in a manner that's deemed suitable by the person that's hiring? Because I know if I go for a job, I want to not be as black for an hour. Not because of anything other than I feel like they're going to feel uncomfortable or look for me to be a certain way before we kind of get... Because, like... You'd have certain conversations, and then I could like leave a room, and someone would be like, "He speaks well, doesn't he?" And do you know what I mean?
And straight away, but what we're saying is, what they really mean is, he speaks well for a black person.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yes, 100%. Yeah.
And then my friend was like, he didn't say nothing, and he's never really lost for words. He's usually got a bit of a comeback. And he's like, you know what? I never really thought of that, and he sat with it for about 2 weeks, and then he brought the conversation up again because he didn't actually take into consideration those sort of things, because it's like when you go for jobs and stuff, like ideally there's a certain type of attire that you will wear. Obviously you have to be on time for your interview and stuff like that, and it's like my friend could go to his job interview and just have a conversation, a normal conversation, and nothing that, you know, people aren't thinking about anything. People aren't trying to read between the lines of things that you're saying, or checking his tone, or, you know, like with the work that I do now, I work with homeless people, and I've worked in situations where we have volunteers that come and serve the food, and if we don't know the volunteers, if we've not met many times, or it's the first couple of times volunteering, like I've been in situations where I've gone into the kitchen just to check that everybody's okay, and they're telling me, "Oh no, you can't be in here. You can't be in here." And I'm saying, what do you mean?
Fucking hell.
I'd say about 5 or 6 times that happened. Like, people have even offered to serve me food before. I've got my badge on, and they're offering to serve me food. And I'm like...
Mate, I'm really glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely, because it's stuff that people don't think about this.
And certain times there's no harm done, really. Like, I don't take things that up to... Yeah, I don't take offence to it.
Yeah,
but
like, it shouldn't have to be something that you have to think about if you're taking offence to it.
Yeah.
And you're growing up, and again, I said this before, I had a podcast with a gentleman, Dodecito, so the gentleman behind you, they made the T-shirt for me.
Yeah.
So again, young black guy from Leicester, creating this thing. He was afraid of using the black emojis, the fists or the prayers, because he didn't want people to know that he was black, because they didn't think people would buy from him. Yeah. And we had a mini conversation about this, nowhere near in the depth of going into here, so I'm so glad we're having this conversation. I'm really grateful that we're doing this. But I was saying, the point is, a young black male should not have to think twice about what colour emoji they should fucking have to post.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter. You shouldn't have to question yourself, will someone buy this if they know that I'm black? It shouldn't be that. So this is a conversation we'll have, because it's such a bizarre thing that from a young age, it's conditioned of... Oh, it's just, they don't mean it like that. Or, again, someone asks a young black kid, are you homeless? But they're not homeless. But then they're like, I won't take offence to that. It shouldn't have to be a thing anyway. I had another situation at work where we had to call the police for something. They came looking for someone that had a warrant out for their arrest. So the policeman's come up to the table, because we was working out of the Mercure Hotel in Nottingham for like 18 months when COVID hit, because we had to move a whole operation there so that people could self-isolate in their own rooms and what have you. So
we used to sit in like the reception area. And we kind of set up a little mini office, so to speak. So the police had come up to us, and I was stood at the table here. There was one of my colleagues where you are, and then a female colleague next to him. So this policeman's like asking us questions about this gentleman. This gentleman happened to be on my caseload. I used to personally support this one guy that they're talking about. So he's asking these questions of his whereabouts and all these different things, and I'm answering him. And the policeman's just stood there. He's ignoring me. He won't even look at me. But he wants to talk to my other two colleagues. And I'm answering what he's saying. I'm answering the questions that he's asking. But he just keeps redirecting everything he's saying to these two. And I know exactly what that was. That was like there's no way you're the guy that I have to come and speak to. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even going to acknowledge that you're even here. And just ignored me the whole time. And when he went, my two colleagues said, did that just happen? What I thought just happened? And I said, yeah.
But isn't it interesting it takes something like that for a white person to notice that what goes on?
Yeah.
And again, growing up, you might know some people like Liam Money.
Oh yeah.
So
went to the funeral. I know Brad, I know Ryan.
So you used to play football with him, Tyrone.
Yeah.
So again, you used to play football with them all.
Yeah.
So again, growing up, mate, I'm getting goosebumps with this because this is so how things go around. So playing football, went to South Lawrence College.
Who did you play for?
I know you go. I used to play for West Yorkshire Colts.
Okay.
It was one of the main teams.
Did you hear about the guy from West Yorkshire Colts?
I heard about they having the heart attack, didn't he?
Yeah.
I literally heard about that. Read that yesterday.
Yeah.
So I played for a few teams growing up. I was a goalkeeper. But again, playing for South Lawrence College, I knew all those lots. So again, I'd drive, for example, James Burke, you might have heard of him. Was driving him home. Buko, they call him, big, massive.
I don't know, I'm not sure.
Fucking hench. But again, like playing football with like Money and Terry Hawkers, I'm not like. So again, I drive some of them home. So I got to see those sort of areas. And obviously, I'm from West Bridgeford. So again, white affluent area. Again, people have got certain views about certain areas in Nottingham. And I'm like, but have you ever been to those areas? Have you ever spoken to any of the guys that are down there? Like, my football team's all from around there. They're fucking sound as fuck. Like, you don't know these people. And again, we went to South Africa, the Balls to Poverty stuff, and you're just looking at how everyone as a whole, and this is my whole thing where I love spirituality and all that sort of stuff. We're all the fucking same.
Yeah.
We're all the fucking same. It fucking pisses me off that certain members of society, whether it's Asian, because again they get racism as well, or black community, whatever it is, have to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. It makes me really fucking pissed off. So I'm really glad, like I said, I keep saying this, I'm really glad in this conversation. So talk to me then about, like, linking this back round again. Talk to me about you leaving school and how you think potentially that has influenced you at all. So you left school and then you went into doing some bad things. What sort of things were you getting into? Were you involved in the gang culture in Nottingham?
No. People thought I was. Just I had certain affiliations through music and stuff like that, but I've never been on the gang thing. I know a lot of people that do certain things, and
purely from that area. Again, saying about the drugs, I didn't know if there was a connection there.
There's always the option to do that. Like I've got friends that you can't really say, but I've always known myself. I've always been too aware of consequence from doing badness. My thing was, I was scared to go to jail. At one point, my mum was like, "No, you're gonna go to jail." Like, she used to say that to me.
Do you know ADOT?
ADOT.
Apparently, so again, Cornell was telling me this. He went to college with me. Apparently, he's serving time for armed robbery, attempted kidnapping, some craziness. And I went to college with this guy. So it's funny that you're saying this about consequences.
Yeah.
Because I literally was at college with him. And the whole point of this college program was to basically help people from like inner city Nottingham basically better themselves in life.
Yeah.
So when Cornell told me that, honestly, mate, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Like, I felt. I was like, how is that possible? How can someone go from having that sort of stuff to then going back into the home environment, and he thinks that's the only way that he can? Yeah. Because people listening to this conversation here, we're talking about this. People don't understand what goes on in England. They think it's just for movies. Like, this is England and all that sort of stuff. But again, this is why we won't go down this rabbit hole now. We spoke about this. Like, this is real life, and this actually goes on. Again, I know London's really fucking bad, but it still goes on in Nottingham. Nottingham was really bad when we were growing up. Again, I know like the 70s, 80s, it was really, really bad. So what, for a young black male who's dropped out of school, how have you then, what options do you have? Because we're talking about this from that area in Stapleford. Racism's a thing. Is it that's the only way you're seen to make money? Is it safety? What is this?
No,
I'm trying to think from a young person now.
So when I was, because by then, because obviously my thing was football. I played for Forest when I was younger and stuff for a brief time, and I played for Pelican that was heavily linked to Forest and stuff like that. And I always said, I got to a certain point, maybe 12, 13, where I said, if I don't do football, I'll do music, because music is in my family. My dad, my uncle, my cousin, my sisters.
All
cousins.
musical.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's my family are known for that. And so by a certain time, I decided that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I'd not even let nobody hear me rap or nothing, but doing music came from emulating things that I'd seen on TV and stealing my sister's albums and stuff like that, and just having a knack for understanding rhythm and rhyme and stuff like that. Do you know, like when you're a kid and like you reenacted like a little role from a film or something like that, and you
I was
like,
wrestling. I was wrestling, WWE wrestling.
Mate, oh, stop it. Friday Night Raw.
Oh, mate.
Friday Night Raw was the one, mate.
Have you watched it recently? Mate, it's fucking dog shit.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh,
It's terrible.
mate,
My mate still watches it. It's 41, still watches it.
Oh, mate, honestly, back in the day, like, do you
Yeah,
ever remember feeling a bit low?
Yeah.
I'll stick on, like, The Rock's greatest moments in WWE.
Oh.
And I'm just sat there like, oh, mate,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
when the Royal Rumble was the thing, like, I used to go to
unbelievable.
sleepovers with my mates. And
Or when like the Undertaker would return, or whatever
yeah,
it was,
yeah,
and you just hear
yeah.
the dong. Mate, unreal.
He's here! He retired like recently, didn't he?
Yeah, have you watched a documentary on him?
No,
Mate, really
I've
good.
seen
Really
that it's
good.
I've seen that that's out.
So I can't remember where we're going with that trailer. Fuck
yeah,
up,
well,
tell
okay.
me. Mike, what are we talking about? Oh, you got it.
So when I'm 15, I'd already decided that I want to do music and stuff. I just didn't know, how to go about it. I was of the mindset of, right, I'm gonna rap and I'm gonna be rich and da da. Do you know what I mean? And so outside of that, I knew at some point I needed to get a job. My first job was I was doing aerospace engineering at a place in San Diego called C&H Precision Finishers, and it was a good job. Like, I earned good money and stuff. I was like 15, 16, and I remember one time, I'll never forget this. The boss pulled me into the office, and he tried to have a conversation with me about the way my face looks while I'm at work. And he was basically saying, "You look like you don't want to be." And like, I've got one of them faces. If I'm in a club and you see me, I might look like an unapproachable guy. I've just got one of them faces.
Like a resting bitch face.
Yeah. But that's just the way.
Yeah.
It's just the way that I am. And when he was trying to explain it to me, I'm thinking, what's he talking about? I'm fine. And that's when I knew, like, there's such a disconnect. And obviously, not forgetting at the time, I'm 16 years old in this warehouse with all these big men that are on some fucking. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to just find my feet and just make it as comfortable for myself as I can. And I'm being told that my face looks wrong at work.
So again, is this predominantly white mix?
Yeah, there was one black guy and me.
So again,
and like, he was like, it's that whole mindset of like, oh yeah, he's not like the rest type. Do you know what I mean?
Because this is the interesting thing with this. So again, a good friend of mine, Paul Cope, has been on the podcast. I listened to him. He did an amazing thing for my clients last Friday. And he spoke about, I'm going somewhere with this story, so bear with me, about putting yourself in the position of kids. So when you're in a supermarket and kids are having massive tantrums, he's like, right, put yourself in the eyes of a kid. So kids are super small, they're looking around, and they've got these adults, and all the adults are picking things up and throwing them in a basket. So this kid's like, oh, okay, like, cool, like, I'm just going to join in, and then they get told off for doing that. So then let's flip it round. So as a white business owner, and then I've got a young black employee, and predominantly white, as a white person, flip that round and just think, what would it be like to be a young white male working in a predominantly black environment, where again, the culture of white men, as you said, so again, white cultural, flip it round. So again, you've got the black cultural thing, like all the inside jokes and all this sort of stuff like before. How would that feel as a white male? What would your face be looking like? How would you, do you know what I mean? It's just flipping the script. How would that feel? Because again, it's one of the things where it's when I went to an Indian wedding once, walked in, I was the only white person at this wedding. And it's the first time I thought, I'm a minority here. And I'm just like, it's interesting. Straight away I noticed it and I thought, cool.
Yeah.
Couldn't understand the language, because it was this Indian wedding, it was one of my best mates' wedding, absolutely brilliant. But I just thought, this is fucking awesome. I was having a great time. Yeah. But I thought, there's no intimidation here, because no one's looking at me I'm going to stab them. Like I'm carrying something, like I'm a drug dealer. And I instantly, this was before I was in the headspace I am now, I understand this sort of stuff. So again, I must have been about 21 maybe. And I just thought, fucking hell. Like, I kind of understand now how black people would feel when people, and this was before I knew anything, I thought, fucking hell. So again, people listening to this story, I want them to try and just picture themselves what it was like for you. So I'm talking about like this face. You're just a guy trying to fit in, figure it all out, and you've been told by this white boss to sort your face out.
Yeah, literally.
Sort your face out. Sort your face out. It's like, what? Like, it just baffles. I just want to like try and, because I'm a visual person, so I want to try and get the audience to just think about that, because this is what we're talking about when it goes to racism side stuff. Put yourself in the shoes of the person you're talking to. How they feeling? How they're supposed to feel? Are you making the environment like welcoming to them?
Yeah. Exactly.
Rather than saying like, first thing, are you okay?
Yeah.
What do you mean, okay? I just look a bit down, upset, and then you're just like, oh no, you're fine. It's just my face.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, no problem. Like, crack on to make sure you're okay. Rather than coming from a place of sort your face out.
Yeah, like why are you not like everybody else in here? You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because their one point of reference was the one black guy that's been there 20 years and
is probably again 20 years. So what's he in his 30s? And again, you're a young lad. It's completely different. And again, mate, fascinating. I mean, so what were we doing there then? What was it that you were doing at that? That's an interesting job to get into.
So they used to like make aeroplane propellers and stuff like that for Rolls Royce.
Oh, Rolls Royce, yeah.
Yeah, like on the angle grinder things and doing a lot of like polishing all like the metal bits with all like the little extra fragments that kind of needed like shaving down sort of thing. It was a decent job, but again, it was one of them things that was like in the back of my mind. I'm thinking, I'm just here doing a job. Like it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not contributing anything to the world. I had this notion when I was young that I'm supposed to help the world somehow. Like do you know what I mean? I always used to say when I was young, I always feel like I wasn't born, like I was sent here for something. I used to say that from young. I don't know why.
Oh, I love that.
I used to say that.
So let's go there then. Like, where's that come from? Like,
I don't know. I remember like when I was young, I used to just think like, why am I here? Like how? Like what are we doing here? Like, do you know what I mean?
Mate, it's adults that don't think like that. So you got a kid that's doing that. Did that kind of isolate you a little bit? Did you feel like a bit of an outsider?
No, because I just used to happily just have them thoughts in my own time. I never used to bother no one with them. I always used to just wonder why. Just like,
Mate, that's some deep shit.
I'm just here. Like, what am I actually here for?
So,
because I used to think, so what? I'm just gonna die and that's it. I thought that's a bit weird. Bit of a waste of time. Do you know what I mean? So that them kind of thoughts would like enter my mind frequently, and I'd just be like, yeah, I wonder why.
So then how did you then turn that into contribution? Because it's a big thing for me. Like, obviously, with what I'm trying to do, again, Mikey knows this. Like, Mikey knows we literally had a conversation about this before. This is the second podcast I've done in a row. I got the times wrong. So it's an American podcast. We were sat there waiting for this guest, like, 20 minutes late. Turns out, for the first time ever, I got the times wrong. We were an hour early. So me and Mikey sat out there and did a bit of business planning. So I was explaining to him where I want to go with everything. But my biggest thing is, like, again, giving back, like trying to help other people for it. So it took me 28 years to figure this out, which is why I'm fascinated by you figuring it out at such a young age. Like, I was put on here to help as many people as possible. That's my mission. Like, but again, from a mental health perspective, to help as many people as possible not feel as shit as I felt, because the rate of suicide is disgusting. So how did you then figure out that contribution and trying to help and give back? Like, where did that come from? Because that's a big thing to want to do. Because there's not much money in it. So again, we're talking about like success and all the things that most kids want. Like, I want to be a footballer, I want to be this, and you're like, well, actually, I want to help.
That's the thing, because you're torn between wanting to do the right things, but then also wanting things for yourself. Like, don't get me wrong. Just because I do certain things in the community, I still have selfish moments. I still fuck up a lot. Do you get what I mean? I'm still far from the perfect human being, but there's something in me that kind of understands, if I was in a situation, I'd want someone to help me like this.
But I would say that's what makes you the perfect human being, because you do fuck up.
Yeah, like I still fuck up. Yeah.
This is why on the phones
like I still got people that are pissed off at me, but it's
But again, this is the thing. Everyone fucks up in life. That's why, again, every computer's got a back button, like your pencil's got erasers. That's what they're there for. And there's no such thing as a perfect human being. Like, everyone fucks up. But it's understanding that if you know, let's say people are mad at you. I've probably got people that fucking hate me. Like, I'm telling you now, I do have people that hate me. But that's the old version of me. Like, that's not who I am as a person now. So I'm trying to give back and contribute. Like, I can't undo the things that I've done. I can own it and be like, I was a fucking arsehole. Like, I was a fucking piece of shit. I fucking hurt some people here. But that's not me anymore. That's a different version of me. So I'm going to try and give back and contribute to the world and leave it a bit better place than what I found it. But I think the fact that you're saying that, like, I still fuck up, good. Because if you don't fuck up, then you're not trying.
Do you
know what I mean? You're not growing and developing, because the more you're trying to push yourself to a level, you're going to fuck up because it's uncomfortable. Again, let's again talk about football. Like, the first time you try a football trick, it's probably not going to work. Cool. But then if you score a fucking overhead kick in the fucking World Cup finals and you fucking pays off.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the things where it's like, as human beings, we're constantly thinking that we've got to be perfect, and if we're not, we're somehow it diminishes the good work that you're doing. Does that make sense? And I think that scares people sometimes. That I can't be a good person because I did this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like you can't undo that, but you can grow as an individual.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
learn
Exactly.
lessons from it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's that's ideally what you want to do. Even with things that have not been like situations that have not been resolved that I have now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them things that's always in the back of my mind. But like where it came from, in terms of actually putting certain things into practice with like work and stuff like that, it came through music. Because when I was, and again, it goes back to the whole emulating certain things that I heard and saw and whatever. So when I was a certain age and I started like rhyming and stuff, I quickly realized, I'm all right at this, because I compared it to things that influenced me years before that I would emulate and stuff like that. So it's like once I got to a certain point where I was like, right, I'm quite good at this, but I can't talk about this because I don't really do that. I can't talk about this. So I started talking about the things I would like to do, like ideally what the world would be like, or all the things that you see in everyday life that are still issues around the world today. And I mean, it probably stems back to my understanding of racism. So like when it comes to like racism and stuff like that, that's like my biggest pet peeve. So trying to have an understanding of why people of colour are treated a certain way, and then that leads into a rabbit hole from things from slavery, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? You can go on for days and days and days, and then when that comes back around to how people live in society now, being able to kind of compare the two based on where I grew up and seeing how people lived and the way I was treated, even though I was in the same part of town as people that lived a certain way, that kind of sparked the conscious thing in like my writing. Do you know what I mean? So with work, I found that because I mean that kind of came out of I won't say a fluke, but it just came about in a weird way. So my daughter's mum, her grandma used to work for the people that I work for now, Emmanuel House, and
Emmanuel House.
Yeah.
Mate, I'll give loads of money to them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's what I work for.
So again, I don't discuss the charity work I do because I don't. It's no fucking business.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our Christmas drive that we did here, the Primal Project, gave back to them. And anytime you guys post stuff on social media that you're looking for stuff, straight away.
Yeah.
So that's a big charity. Yeah, mate, awesome. Yeah, I have to have a conversation with this about how to help out more because, yeah, mate, brilliant. So carry on that conversation.
At the time, I was just doing a driving job. Just working for like a logistics company, just driving around the country, and then the work stopped, and I was like, I'm bored of this, getting laid off from jobs, and same old same. Because again, like going back to the area that I grew up in, a lot of my cousins like had sick jobs that paid a lot of money from young, and it was kind of like the word of mouth thing, like a friend of a friend type thing. But I never really I'd never got that type of bringing, and I know why I never used to get that bringing. Do you know what I mean? So,
why do you think that was?
It's the disconnecting in cultures and not wanting to have the black guy in your gang, like working on the roads or whatever. Like I tried to ask loads of people, like, have you got any work? Like the way my cousins did. No, mate, no, sorry. And it was always the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And I remember like even like filling in job applications, and there was like, you have to tick off your ethnicity and stuff like that. You don't hear nothing back, or you go for a job, they don't know that you're of colour, and then you get there, and then you know what's coming.
Mate, I want to go. I just want to focus on this because this is again, if fucking Bone talk about it pisses me off. Why do you think? Because then you said you did a lot of reflecting on this, and this is a big thing for you. This personal choice. I just want to go down this rabbit hole. Why do you think racism is such a problem? Where has that come from? Again, we talk about slavery and stuff like that, but with stuff that you've sort of gone down your rabbit holes, as a white male, and again, the listeners listen to this, where does this come from? Why is racism a thing?
Well, I mean, like from what I've experienced and like the people that it's come from, it's a learnt behaviour, isn't it? Like you say, you go back to the toddler thing. You put toddlers of all ethnicities in the room. They're going to play with each other, aren't they? They're not going to think, I can't go near him because they don't know, do they? They just see another kid and that's it. So, for the most part, for me, it's learnt behaviour. So even if people aren't out and out racist people, or they've got no issue with people of different races and colours, there's something ingrained in them that makes them wary of the possibility of certain things. Like, me and my friends could walk into a restaurant and everyone wants to stop and look and go quiet, and then they wants to, there's an issue with seating us, or do you know what I mean, anything to potentially get us out the door.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So can we then link this back with this? Because this is something, again, I know for a fact a lot of white people listening to this when it comes to racism, because again, I've heard people talk about this and it fucking pisses me off. Yeah, but their culture perpetuates it. So for example, rap music, typical rap music, gang culture.
But it's so, yeah. So
it's not, I know it's a chicken or the egg.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This want to go with this. I want to this is what I'm saying, because it really puts, so, because people will be like, yeah, but look how they dress, look how they talk to each other, using the N word, doing all this sort of stuff. Like, no wonder people think a certain way of them.
Yeah.
When you get white people that are just a piece of fucking shit. Because in every culture, black, white, Asian, doesn't matter, there's pieces of shit. There's people that do wrong, but it always seems to be that the black culture, it gets amplified, put on the news, and then that's why, again, the white people watching the news, oh my God, a black person wearing a hoodie, oh my God, he's got to be fucking carrying a gun. Fuck off. But again, you then got the rap music, which again, hip-hop, which is then put on the screen of, this black culture is all about women, cars, money, guns, all the popular stuff. Why? I want to have a conversation about this, like, because it's, from a white person's perspective, I know that a lot of people struggle with that, and they almost blame the black people for it. Because it's not that at all. Yeah, so I just want to talk about that.
So, like, with that then, at some point in the conversation comes, but if I said it to you, it would be, my thing's always been, but why do you want to say it then? Why do you want to say it knowing that it's something that will trigger somebody? It's like there's this thing where people are annoyed that they can't say something, but I can say it to, obviously it stems from somewhere. I can't fully give you a deep dive and an explanation as to how it come about, but obviously in slavery and stuff, when that name was adopted by white people to give to black people, it was, you know, it was used for black people to speak amongst themselves and things like that. So it's like, it's a way of life. And when we talk about hip hop and rap music, it's like, yeah, that's fine saying it's all about women and guns and blah blah this. So the thing is with hip hop, obviously hip hop comes from Jamaican culture. Kool Herc started the parties in the Bronx, and hip hop kind of started off as a party thing. It was based on DJs, and then it was the breakdancing, then it was the MCs that were kind of the people that made the parties get hype and stuff like that. And then as time went on, and you know, people kind of become more well versed in creating music and being put in a certain light and stuff like that. As like anything, it evolves. It becomes, I want to say becomes better, but it's like I mean, the music now, that's a different conversation.
Oh, mate, don't
that's a different conversation. But I mean, like when, you know, like it's the Americans kind of took from like soul and funk in the same way that Kool Herc kind of took from Jamaican culture in the way it's presented, and then like with like, or like the old funk soul records and stuff like that. That's when like the chopping of the beats came and stuff like that. And then in the 70s, in the 80s in America, when people moved to the projects and stuff like that, that's what they were. They were projects. So these that were like guinea pigs in America. Then you got the crack epidemic and all these things. So you've gone from people, you know, living like the party lifestyle and stuff like that, and then you've got people that don't necessarily live in and among them circles, and all they see is crime. All they see is people strung out on drugs, people getting killed and stuff like that. So people report on what they see every day, and then from then there's an understanding of how to survive that. So like when rappers talk about guns and things like that, it's, yeah, it appears to be braggadocious, but it's like, I come from a place where that is so ingrained in people. I know how to deal with that because I've got to get one myself. So I know how to deal with those kind of things. So, you know, when people I suppose, are writing things and stuff like that. It's like the whole thing of showing no fear. Like, I'm not scared to, you know, shoot somebody if harm comes my way, or whatever the case may be. And then obviously with the women and the drugs, I think we can't even do the whole women thing, because that's not even a conversation that's based on black people. That's anybody. If people get money, whether it's women or men, there's leeches. People want to be around you because you've got money. Like, we had a conversation, didn't we, a minute ago, about the way that people are in terms of, you know, if people get a little bit of notoriety, just with Instagram alone, people are all over you, just based on the likes you get. There's not even no money there. Do you get what I mean? So, like, the women thing, that's
I was just using that as an example.
But I'm saying people throw that in there all the time. And it's like, it's not just footballers, actors, politicians, you know what I mean? The women thing, it's not even just women, it's everybody. People want to be around that, don't they?
That fucking bellend that got caught having an affair in fucking idiot.
What,
the politician?
And when he shut the door and he was like,
what the fuck's his name?
Creepy,
that ugly motherfucker.
I forget.
Matt Hancock. What a fucking piece of shit. Anyway, but it's interesting. So again, I learned a new word here. I asked Mikey to describe your kind of music, your specific, what you do, conscious hip hop and conscious rap. I said, what does that mean? But it's like basically self-journey, like talking about what you see. Again, so that's basically what you're describing just there. Like, because again, this is interesting for people to actually pay attention to, like the roots of the music, the hip hop and all that sort of stuff, and the rap music and all that sort of. You got your people that literally, as you said, lived in the projects. So let's break that fucking down. You've got a whole demographic of society that are seen as suboptimal, subpar, second-class citizens. They've now got all their rights, and you've got these people that are in charge that are white. Basically, still enslaving them, but they're enslaving them in a different way. They're legally enslaving them. Let's just stick them in these projects and let them fucking fester. Where, again, they don't have opportunity to good education. Again, especially in America, good education, good schooling, district, jobs, whatever it is. And basically, you've then got to fight to survive. And then, as then you've said, growing up, you want to start rapping. So what's the difference between you and a kid in the projects? Well, you're in... Yes, may not be in a great area, but it's not as bad as like Compton, for example. So then what are they going to see? They're going to be looking around and they're going to be seeing what's... So then, as you said, as then growing up as adults, they can then talk about this of their journey is seeing the gang culture, seeing the trap houses, seeing all these things, and then they're doing it. But again, it's got to sell. Because again, this whole thing, so then you put a nice beat behind it, and then it does almost glamorize it, but it's not glamour. You break it down. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to the words.
Not even understanding it, overstanding. Because when you've been in and around it, you can understand something that you've never seen before. But when you've been in the thick of it and you've seen things, you've like dabbled in certain things yourself, people tend to call that an overstanding. Like you know what it is. So it's like even when I reference things now, I've just dropped a new project like last week. And it's not even conscious. It's just, I'm just rapping, just basically on a skill level thing. It's all about just being a sick rapper on this project. God Body Tapestry out now, by the way. Bandcamp, you know.
We'll get Mikey to stick it in the thing.
But you know, when I reference things that are related to drugs or crime, it's from an understanding of knowing why people do it. I mean, now, I'd say probably in the last 8 to 10 years, like you got a lot of people. I had a conversation with you then about somebody that. Someone that I know that one time came up to me and was like, "Oh, what are you selling drugs for? That's not you, did it?" And I was basically saying, "I'm doing it because I'm in a situation now. I need to. I'm not working. I ain't got. Do you know what I mean? I need to eat. I need to do all the things that everybody else needs to do." And lo and behold, about 10 years later, guy's got a good job. I think the guy's married, kid. But now you're doing the same thing just for no reason, just to be in a circle, just to say that, you know, I do this. I do. Do you know what I mean?
He doesn't need to do it.
No, doesn't need to do it. Obviously, they probably feel like he would now, because probably like the difference in money if he didn't do it, it'd be gargantuan. Do you know what I mean? But there's no necessity behind it. People just do it because they can get away with it, or because they want to have certain conversations, be sat at the table and talk that people love to talk. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's been fascinating. Even just talk about this. The level we have done now. So, in your opinion, how do we start to change racism? Because for me, this is my view on it. You've got the pieces of shit that are racist. They're hopefully all going to be dead soon. And as we said, because we're now as a culture so multicultural. Like, again, I'm thinking back when I was at school, primary school. I think there was one kid that was Asian, one kid was black. Predominantly was then white. Then secondary school, again it's in West Bridgeford, obviously I know it's different, but again with some sort of age, maybe in my year, maybe 2 black kids, a few Asians. Now massive multicultural thing. So
Yeah.
as you said, it's not a thing in younger kids now, but it's
not
all the
really,
parents, the grandkids, and all that sort of stuff, which is then filtered down. So in my head, my view is these fuckers can be dead soon.
Yeah.
Then hopefully
Well,
the younger generation comes up.
It's like if there's a new generation that are from a certain place, from certain backgrounds that are out and out racist. Like I know loads of these fake football hooligans that will be nice to your face, but then will say, like I've even got cousins.
Have you seen that video that was a while ago about that woman that was racially abusing a bouncer? The white woman that was going fucking nuts, calling him and going absolutely nuts, and then she's like, "Oh, I've had black boyfriends." So that gives you
my next door neighbour's best friend's milkman's lawyer's black.
So that gives you an excuse to say those words to someone who's just doing his job.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of that thing you talk about, isn't it? Fucking what?
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No. You bring up a good point there, but it's like someone that's going to say something like that has to be in and around certain types of people. But what I was going to go on to say was, if you've got people, a group of people that are of a certain age, that are in the 20s and whatever, I kind of think it was weird almost that people that age are racist now. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
But yeah, I think in the I've never been to the States, but my understanding of what it's like over there is that it's very much in your face. Like it's not really. There's no one trying to hide the fact that they're racist. If obviously forget the N-word and whatever, people will act in certain ways to let you know outright, blatantly. Like that's why you see all these Karens on all these videos, because they want you to know. They want you to know they don't like you. But here it's
a lot more under the radar.
Yeah, closet racist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, what do you mean racist? We've got a black person.
Yeah.
Like
you've got a safety net to
my
justify.
My brother
it.
goes out with a black girl. I can't be racist.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
But so again, speaking of someone that has lived in America, again, my football team over there, obviously. And the bizarre thing about this, this fucking baffles me. All these people that are fucking racist, they're the ones that are supporting all these football teams. Who are the main stars for most of them? They're fucking black players.
Exactly.
American football. In America, they fucking love American football over there, and they love basketball. Most NFL players and most fucking NBA players are fucking black.
Yeah.
So it's okay. No, it's okay because he's basketball. What the fuck's the difference? But this thing, they're so narrow-minded and ignorant. They don't understand what they're saying. Yeah. They don't look at the bigger picture.
This is the thing. They want the culture. They want the music. They want the style. They want the athletes to win them the trophies and whatever. But they don't want the burden.
No.
They don't want the burden that comes with it. When it comes to that, it's like, oh, I don't know anything about that.
Because like in Belarus when England played the last game and they were throwing all the stuff.
Yeah.
So imagine, I don't even know any fucking team in Belarus, so they're clearly a bag of shit. But let's say they've got a team there that's bottom of the league. They then happen to get Raheem Sterling playing for them.
Yeah.
They then go on to win the league. You're telling me they're going to be just as racist? No, they're like, oh, Raheem Sterling.
It was like when the Chelsea fan did it to Raheem Sterling when he was taking the corner. Mate, your best ever player is Didier Drogba. What, when he scored the Champions League goal, he went, fuck off, you black cunt. Nah, I'm not supporting these lot again. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't. You had a party for the whole week.
Yeah.
You had a party for the whole week.
This is the bizarre thing, isn't it? It's like they don't see colour when it suits them.
Yeah.
It baffles me. And this is why I'm so fascinated by this whole thing is I just don't understand it. And this is me as a white person. I can't fucking imagine what it's like for you and your culture to be like, I don't fucking understand it. Like one minute they're fucking celebrating us because we scored the Champions League goal, and then the next minute they're fucking calling us the N-word for no fucking reason.
Yeah. It's weird for me because I'm mixed race. My mum's white, so like my mum's understanding of black culture is a little bit different. Like my mum's not she was never one of them that was like engrossed in being around black people and trying to, you know, remember the old school word, wigger? Remember that word?
Oh, yeah. I've not heard that word for you. That was like Eminem when he came out. Wigger.
But it's like, my mum was never like that. My mum was just...
Fucking hell, what a word.
My mum was just the way that she is. But she understands certain things, certain struggles, and, you know, it's not even a conversation I have to have with my mum because it's my mum. She knows. Do you get what I mean? And
have you struggled being mixed race? Because the only reason why I say that is because one of my clients, a very good friend of mine, just helped me out with so much stuff. Her son is mixed race, but very, very light-skinned. And he really struggles. Yeah. Especially when the George Floyd thing was going on, because he doesn't look mixed race. Yeah. And he'd go with all his white friends, but he was the darkest one of his white friends. Yeah. But people would kind of be saying stuff, and he's a bit like, well, my dad's black.
Yeah.
But then he'd again go to his dad's side, and he was very, very white compared to, and he really struggled with that. Is that something that you've had struggle with?
Like growing up, I know that like would have been the 80s then when like my sister was born and my dad and mum met or whatever. I know that it was an issue then, like when it had gone around the family. Oh, she's brought a black man. She's brought a black man home type thing, and it was a thing to. Do you know what I mean? Why has she brought a black man home? Why hasn't she brought a man home? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So even that, even though it's not it's not directly a racist thing to say, but when you start it off like that, it's you know what I mean? It's front page news almost. That's the way they make it sound. Read all about it. Black man meets white woman.
Were your grandparents from your mum's side? Are they still alive?
No, they're all my grandparents are gone.
When growing up, were they?
So I grew up in the house I grew up with. It was it was me, my mum, my sister, and my nana. So my granddad, he took ill when I was like 6, and he was in a nursing home till I was around 20, and then passed away. So like, he was in the army. I think he was a chef in the army, and he didn't. I was too young to really have any time to build with him, sort of thing.
Was it them that was saying stuff? I'm assuming it was from your mum's side.
No.
So was it friends of the family or what?
So I'd probably say like my grandma's sisters and stuff like the music he was playing earlier was from a project called Joyce. Joyce is my nana. So that's who it's named after. And she was like the oldest one of the family. She was the one that looked after people and things like that. I think she did some fostering and stuff back in the day as well. And but she was just a nice woman. Like nothing. Didn't say anything. That was just my nana. That was it. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of got the understanding that it was like that for her sisters and stuff, just based on things that my cousins and stuff would say. Like when you look back on it when you're younger, it's like that's where that kind of stuff come from that you'd say as a joke when we were a kid and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And just quickly on the flip side of things, like, so my dad is very pro-black in terms of his approach to like the way he wants to carry himself, like as a black man and stuff like that. We're quite similar. Like we always bump heads. Like,
so when you say pro-black, what does that mean?
Pro-black means for everything, for all things black. From just wanting to empower black people in whatever way you can, and just show your blackness or in any which way you can.
Doesn't try and in any way, shape or form, like quote unquote.
No. It's ingrained.
To what the white people.
No,
I love that.
Do you know what I mean?
I said because you're going to say like obviously I know what that means from a white male's perspective.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So when I do this podcast, if I'm asking a question, I'm thinking, oh, my guest probably answers. So when you said that, like pro-black, I was like, what does that actually mean? Like, I was curious on that.
And I remember saying, I said, do you know what? Like, have you heard of Dr. Sebby?
I've heard.
So,
wouldn't be able to say.
So Dr. Sebby was. I mean, I can attempt to try and break it down, but I don't know enough to myself to kind of. But basically, if you look up Dr. Sebby, he was a man that used to treat people with cancer and AIDS through like. Through everything plant-based, everything that grows.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
and have an understanding of being able to survive and stay healthy from everything that's natural. That's natural, and what things like what different electrolytes and all these different things aid whatever ailments people have and stuff like that. And I think I don't know if he got locked up or he got charged for malpractice when he treated, I think it was 13 people for AIDS and another handful of people for cancer and cured them. And so that's like, so you see like Nipsey Hussle, when he got shot, he was making a documentary on the Dr. Sebby thing. And obviously there's people behind the scenes that say, oh, this is the reason he got killed. But yeah, anyway, that's that. So
no, but I love that kind of stuff. So some of the guests we've had on it talk about like things that come behind the scenes people don't realise. Like no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah, so they're things that like I've always been interested in, but I'd never try and openly like speak or preach to people about because I don't know enough. But I know enough that it interests me that at some point I want to put it into practice. But yeah, like so with just referring to all type of things like that. Like obviously my dad's a musician; he plays the congas. That is like the drum is it's the beat of it's the beat of the universe, isn't it? The drum, it's your heart beats. Do you know what I mean? That's like the foundation of rhythm. And my dad's, to this day plays the congas, sick on the congas. And yeah, so everything's very black and stuff like that. I remember one day I said, you say all these things, everything's referencing black culture and stuff all the time. I said, so why do you always go for white women? Why am I mixed race? Why have you not got a black woman? And his answer was so funny. And he was like, it's the forbidden fruit. So back in those days, like from this in the 60s and 70s, obviously it was that bad for black men that there was this attraction between white women and black men, because I think the curiosity surrounding the two cultures and knowing that, if I go over here, it's gonna be a problem. And I think that's why you've got so many mixed race kids and stuff in England, whereas like in the South in America, it was lynchings, it was rare. Do you know what I mean? It weren't like that over here. It was you could get a glimpse of it and be like, oh, that's interesting. My mum used to go Palais back in the day. Palais is Prism. It used to be called Palais back in the day, and she used to go to all the dances and stuff. So she was obviously at some point in time came across that and was like, yeah, I'm loving these vibes over here, and that's where that's where the mingling came from between the two.
But this is then the thing: your mum didn't see a black person, because again, women are very like emotional driven, which she may have done, but from case of very emotional driven, like I like this guy's vibes. Yeah, this guy's also I love what he's about. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. So again, she wouldn't look to him and be like, oh, he's a black guy. I'm just going to sleep with him.
Yeah, no, of course not.
In a case of, I like this guy's vibes. Yeah. You don't see the skin colour. It's like,
no.
Again, your dad may have been like, oh, white woman, whatever it is. But again, it's like you connect on a level. Yeah. You're not just with someone just to, well, I know some people literally do that because they're fucking weird. But you're not with someone just to tick a box. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're with someone because it's like you see that person for what they are. Mm-hmm. Like I'm chatting with you right now, and it's like I'm just seeing you. Like literally, yeah. And this is what I love about doing this podcast. Like no matter who I'm talking to, you get to see the person for the true, authentic self when we're talking. Yeah. And it's just bizarre you talking because obviously, literally 1 year older than me. Grew up in the same area, we've had two completely different lives. Yeah. And it's fucking amazing. Like we know some of the same people. Again, you said like you went to Liam's funeral. Like that to me is absolutely bizarre. Because, like I said, I knew Liam, obviously clearly not the level that you did, but again, playing football with him, I used to love chatting with him.
I was still am, good friends with his cousin Brad. So that's how I knew Liam through Brad. But yeah, like with that, when I had the conversation and said like the forbidden fruit thing, I was like, I wonder if everybody else had said that. And then me and my uncle are really close, and he was like the same thing, and it wasn't in the sense of like, oh yeah, we're getting one over on the white man type thing. It's like, I think part of it was, there was probably that much of an effort made to keep, to not mingle the two, for results such as this to come about. And that whole opposites attract type of thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think there was probably a fascination between the two. Like, you imagine like growing up in like the 60s and 70s and not really being around white people, then going to a white woman's house and having pie and mash and go to them and say, yo, do you know what they made me eat? They made me eat some sausages and some potato, and then you got then the other way around. I had this thing called plantain and ackee and so. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I've seen both sides growing up. And I remember when I was at school, I was at infant school. I was only like 5, and they asked me to do an assembly and get my dad to come. Obviously, it was late, of course. And I'm sat in front of the whole school on the floor like, these lot think I'm just going to reel off black culture. I'm about 5-6 years old. He ends up coming and doing the assembly and breaking down like things from cuisines to fashion instruments and stuff. And I remember everyone was just fascinated by it. And I remember thinking, but one thing that stuck with me was that my teacher was eating something, and the first thing that she did was eat something, and she was like, "Oh, it's just kind of like fobbed it off and like compared it to like just a normal British dish." And that was the first time I thought, why are you trying to like downplay it for some reason?
What's the that amazing Good Morning thing where that chef and Holly Willoughby and Thingbob talking to me, it's like, oh, if this had Thingbob, it'd be this, and he turns around and went, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike.
She'd be a bike. Yeah.
Just reminds me of that. It's like he's playing it off like, oh, it just tastes like this. No, motherfucker, it's something completely different.
Yeah. And I remember noticing that, and it really bugged me for some reason. But again,
even at that age, at that social age, you kind of it bugged you because you knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
Like you're there doing this assembly for someone, you're presenting your culture.
Yeah.
And then someone's almost trying to downplay it again.
It's like what you wanted to eat it and start hearing fucking drums and elephants.
But that's the whole thing. Again, that underlying thing of the racism.
Yeah,
That is then by itself racism.
Yeah.
You're there talking about this cultural dish, and they're just sat there like, oh yeah, it's kind of just like this.
It's like, well, what do a lot of British people do though? They go Benidorm and have dinner at the Red Lion.
Mate,
fish and chips here.
Yeah, but it's true, isn't it?
It's mad. It's mad.
Like it just absolutely baffles me how people can go through life and not understand what they're doing.
No,
with this, and it's. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed and grateful about this conversation today because I'd say I hope the whole point of this podcast is to get people to think about things.
Yeah.
And racism is a massive thing for me. That bothers me, and I don't understand it because again, don't forget, know a guy called Dan Smith. Works at M10 in Nottingham. Really high personal trainer. I don't know if he listens to this podcast. If he does, big shout out. So again, he's one of my best friends. At my early stages of personal training. So again, very similar to you, white mum, black dad. And we used to have some really deep conversations about stuff. And again, he taught me about some of his culture, about black man time, black don't crack, and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, but I'd never experienced it. And once you understand it, and this is, I think, one of the biggest things when it comes to racism for white people, they don't understand.
Yeah.
But they don't want to ask. And it's like they don't want to know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They don't want to have a conversation about it.
I've had it so many times. Like when I talk about my mate who's got the black girlfriend. Shouts out to Garfi. He always moans like on a Saturday. Like Natalie she'll pick her mum up and they'll go shopping on a Saturday, and I'll be around there watching football, and he's waiting to have his dinner. He wants his dinner at a certain time, but she's just taking forever in Asda, taking 4 hours in Asda, and she's like, there's all this fucking black man time and it's. I laugh because it's really hard to put into words, but the best way I can describe it is it's like, I'm ready. I'll be ready when I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? There is no deadline. Why are we putting deadlines in?
But again, let's then break this down. It's a black culture, Jamaican, African. What's the lifestyle like? Chill as fuck. Time anything, you're chilling. It's the white people that are fucking like, right, go. So then you've got this culture. Chill. Enjoy life. Now, again, this is speaking from a person, I fucking hate being late.
I hate being late. I hate being
But then
late.
again, it gets that cultural thing again of understanding. Okay, well, go to Jamaica, go to Africa, look at the culture. It's just so laid back and chilled.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you want to be rushing when it's fucking red hot outside and you're just fucking chilling, enjoying the fucking beautiful weather, fucking great food? Why are you rushing?
Yeah.
Just fucking enjoy it,
take it in. They'll get done when they get done, type thing. But obviously, when it comes to things like work and things like that.
Modern day society.
Yeah. It's it's people try the best regardless of whether they're on black man time or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know anyone that's on black man time is going to be earlier for work than they are for going on a night out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But so like I say all that to say that like my thing is, and it's something that I've always said to my mum, like I identify as a black man, and it's all based on the way that I grew up, and having an understanding that like it's as simple as if we went into a clan rally and they was ready to kill the first black men that they saw, and me and my mate who's black as ace of spades walk into this clan rally, I'm not getting half killed, am I? Do you get what I mean? I'm not. It's not going to be like, do you know what? Yeah, he's all right. Just deal with the other one. It's not. Just as simple as that. The way that people react to me walking into a posh restaurant is going to be the same way as him
walking in.
Yeah, like I've got no black friends that sometimes they might joke about, oh, that's the white side of you or something. But it's a bit of banter. But
do you know any mixed race friends of yours that would identify as white?
No. Maybe if anything, maybe more mixed race people that aren't in tune culturally as much, that might have their moments where they try and overexert themselves to prove that I understand black culture, or they haven't really been around it too much. So there's probably more of a necessity to want to appear that way when it's time. Even with people like that, even with mixed race people that come from certain places like a West Bridgeford or like somewhere fancy in Derby, that the types, the semi-pro footballer, them ones. Do you know what I mean? But when it's time, they're gonna let you know that I lean towards the black side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a mixed race person be in a situation by where they would want to, in some way, shape or form, downplay or insult black people to impress white people, or kind of fob black culture off. I'm like, that jigaboo stuff. No. I've never seen that before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But again, I suppose it comes down to understanding, because there's a lot of mixed race people that don't really have full on understandings of.
Do you think a lot of mixed race people have an identity crisis?
Yeah, to a certain extent, because where I grew up, obviously I grew up in a certain environment, so I know the lingo, I understand the lingo, and
because I'm more thinking again. So let's say in your position, mixed race lad, white mum, black dad. If you act like a white male, talk like a white male, dress like a white male, have a white male job, and rock up to a job interview like a white male, life would be very different for you. This is what I'm trying to get the identity thing. Like it just pops into my head when I think about that. About like how hard it must fucking be to just be able to express yourself. Am I making sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It just thought
like,
popped into my head. It's just like so I'm thinking in my head. But even everything. Mikey knows this when I do stuff. Like as you've been talking this whole time, my brain's been rattling, thinking of things. Again, from my personal experience, and again, you see mixed race people, and like you're the whitest black person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, right, is he doing that because he knows that if he rocks up like a black man, he's going to not get the job, or he's going to look at differently. So he's basically, from a very young age, realised, right, I need to adopt being, acting, saying, doing certain things to basically become essentially white, basically essentially disregarding his fucking black heritage to basically fit in and have an easier life. Does that make sense? Is that a thing?
I mean, disregarding heritage is one thing, but when you've not got a full understanding of the culture in terms of, just naturally being in and amongst certain, whether it's food, certain smells, skincare products, hair care products, even the music to some extent. Drake gave a lot of people a lifeline. Do you know what I mean? But outside of things like that, I think if there's a massive disconnect in, I'm saying you don't have to be from the ends. You don't have to be from the hood. I'm not. I'm from council estate. Do you know what I mean? I'm from the estate. So do you know what I mean? I'm from rough upbringings, but mine was just a bit twisted. Do you get what I mean? But I always
it's not like London level.
No way. I grew up
in all relative, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's all relative.
I grew up in an area they call Top Shops.
Yes,
Top Shops. So you know what Top Shops used to be about? You know what I mean? So it was just there was a bag of scallywags, all sorts going off up them sides, and just grew up just watching kind of things just unfold.
But you're taking me back to my childhood, because I remember obviously when I used to play football games and you used to go and say you play your Pegasus Colts and
that's where you used to play Jack Park.
Yeah, and you used to be driving around. And I'm just like I'm looking now and I'm thinking, mate. The way you say, I'm just like, like I remember people talking about this sort of stuff.
Trust me,
mate. This has been brilliant. I've really. I know, literally, we've not talked. I said we have 3 things to talk about. We've not spoke about a single one of these things.
That's what happened with us. Like we just went on a big tangent.
Is there any final words you want to say on this when it comes to racism? Because again, this is when I said about the platform for this, about what you want to get out of today's podcast. Literally, we had no thing. We were just going to talk. But I know that, like I said, racism. I think close to your heart. So let's just assume there's a lot of white people listening to this.
Yeah.
And you've got an opportunity to actually talk to a white person. What do you want them to know about racism? What's something you want to say? Have you got a message? I know it's a really deep, loaded question I'm throwing on you. So I'll buy you some time. I'll buy you some time when you're thinking. But I think it's really important. And this conversation, again, I know, but shout out to Cornell. I don't know him. I've literally had one conversation with him. But this is where this has come from. But this is the power in just 2 people talking. And again, months later, it's led to this conversation. Yeah. And although it's not directly related to other podcasts I've done about mental health and stuff like that, it is very, very relevant to people being the best versions of themselves. Yeah. Because again, my podcast isn't for white people. My podcast is for people. Yeah. So again, if there's one mixed race kid that's listening to this, feeling a little bit lost or anything like that, or again, a black person that's been unsure about race, or even a white person, that kind of felt like me a bit like, I want to have this conversation with someone, but I don't really know what to say, how to approach it. Like, this has helped someone, and that's all I really wanted to do. So I've bought you enough time here, I think. So
no, so I mean, there's not really a definitive answer or a question I would like to pose or a statement I'd like to make. But my thing is, it's like, I don't know, like, if I look at, so I briefly just speaking about like working with homeless people, obviously people have been through a certain transition that's led them to where they are in life. And when I talk to people, my thing is I just deal with everybody the same. I don't talk to anybody like the homeless. Do you know what I mean? I'll talk to someone the same way I'm talking to you. And I probably have a minute where I think, like, what version of you was you, like, at one time? Like, what would the version of you be like if certain things didn't occur in your life? Like, what, like, you try and see through, like, all the, you know, through the drugs and, you know, the situation that they're in, the rough sleep, and you try and see through all that and just think, I wonder who you are underneath all that. So it's like, my thing is, if people are curious, and instead of just assuming based on what you see in videos, what you see on Instagram or in films, I don't know, like, my thing is just, I don't know, like, just have a different way of approaching the way you think about people before you judge them. If you're just basing it on what you think you know about it, and that could just be down to the way that someone dresses or things like that. So, like, even with like the with the LGBT thing, that's like rammed down our throat to kind of be like, just treat everybody the same. And there's nothing different in that with like the race thing. If there's something you don't understand, just put it down to it must be part of who they are. It must be a part of, they must be like that for a reason. If I don't understand it, that's fine. If you want to find out, there's ways that you can find out. But at the same time, there's also ways not to find out. Don't just befriend a black person for the sake of studying. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Fuck, imagine going to
no, but
excuse me, will you be my black friend?
Yeah.
No,
but I'm saying it's like if you're that curious, then find out. Like, look into it, because it might seem uncomfortable to you, or certain things might seem a bit loud and rowdy and stuff. It's like when you're hearing someone speak to someone in a different language, and you're thinking, oh, they're shouting at each other here, but they're not. They're just talking.
Get passionate.
Yeah.
So where can people, again, because then you said you've done a bit of research into the racism stuff and black culture. Is there anywhere? Because again, someone right now that's listening to this and like, do you know what, I'd love to learn more.
I'll tell you where it is. Library. Read books.
I was going to say, is there any books specifically that you're like, actually, this is fucking brilliant? Like, or, I know to fucking, but caveat here, I'm not trying to fucking condense the black culture to one fucking book before fucking people jump on the bandwagon. My point is, like, is there a book that you've read that's like, actually, this really articulates things really well? Like, this is a really good history about
I was going to say, like, read, speak to people, and just have an open mind.
Just educate yourself.
What is it? Like, what there's people that, you know, out and out don't like certain races, and I feel like with the black culture, I've always kind of differentiated like the black and Asian culture. I've always kind of seen it as like racist people would kind of almost see it as being able to bully Asian people with the racism, but with the black thing, it seems to be more of a threat. And it's like, you don't have to be on the defensive with everything, or if it's that no one's making you be around it. Do you know what I mean? Go do it. Go be. Well, if you go over there, you haven't even got to be racist because you're not even around it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's learnt behavior. So there's other things that you can learn outside of what you already know. Unlearn what you know. Unlearn what you was taught, or find out why you was taught that. Go take it back to the root. Take it back to your mum and dad. Talk to your mum and dad. Ask your mum and dad where it came from. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Because learning to hate a black people is like learning to support Forest. You didn't choose to support Forest. Your dad took you to all the games.
Because again, what it ended up being is, so we've got to think black people. Oh, because all they do is sell drugs and they're violent and they carry guns and knives. Okay. When have you ever spoke to a black person? Oh, but it's on the news. Who's in charge of the news? Oh, no. The news wouldn't lie.
I mean,
okay.
That's a whole different podcast.
Okay. Anyway, just wanted to loop it in there, but again, it's just asking yourself. So again, a story about that, like I can't remember where this analogy I heard, where basically me and you in this room right now, and then someone comes in, because there's no windows here. Someone comes in and says, "Oh, thunderstorm outside, don't go outside." Okay, cool. Comes in the next day, hurricane, do not go outside, stay inside, stay inside. Okay, so we're just like, okay, cool. Then one day we decide to go outside, sunny. It's always been sunny. Go and find out for yourself. Don't listen to what other people are saying.
Yeah.
Go and find out for yourself. Don't listen to the news. Again, like, there's pieces of shit in every single culture, especially fucking white culture.
Yeah.
Yes, some fucking black people carry guns. Yes, some black people do drugs. Some white people carry guns. Some white people do drugs. It's the same in every fucking culture. But asking yourself why it's only fucking amplified when it's a black culture and where the news comes from. I'm going to leave it on that bombshell because I'm not going to go, again, not going down that rabbit hole. But again, I just want people to, if you've never, again, as you said, if you've never spent time in these areas, if you've never spent time actually trying to educate yourself, you don't have an opinion, and you don't know these people, whether it's black, Asian, whatever the fuck it is, you don't fucking know. You've got an opinion, and again, a belief system based on something. Again, a belief is something that factual proof. You believe black people to be a certain way. A belief is something that factual proof. You do not have factual proof. Go and educate yourself. Honestly, I just want to say thank you for this. This has honestly been absolutely incredible, and I've really fucking enjoyed this. Where can people find out more about you?
So, you can find me knocking around on Instagram. Online Littles is the Instagram.
The slowest replier in the world, by the way. So if you message this guy, don't expect a reply. 1 to 2 working. Is it Black Man time you're working on? Is that?
Yeah. Mixed race man. Mixed race man time. Might be straight away. Might be next week.
Depends. Yeah.
No, but with that, I will say with that, if I can't give a definitive answer, I'll go and find that answer and then come back to you. But my bad habit is I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to do
well,
that.
But it's more a case of, I said this to Mikey when we went to the original podcast.
Yeah.
So I'd sent you the time and the date.
Yeah.
And you'd gone to message me to get mad at me for not replying back to you, and you realised you hadn't replied back to me.
Not
and you're like,
and
and you're like, I was coming on to figure out why you hadn't messaged me back, and then I realised I hadn't actually messaged you, and I was laughing my head off as soon as you said that. I was laughing my head off. Sorry, repeat that again because me being dicks. What's your Instagram?
So Online Littles on the Instagram, you'll find me rapping my ass off on there, promoting music. I don't really use it for much more.
You on Spotify?
Honest. Yeah, J Littles on Spotify.
Got a website?
Boomforreal.com. That's my label. Shouts out to Ashwin. Shouts out to Oscar.
Awesome.
Directors.
I'll make sure I put all the
Mikey, Twitter is Littles Online. Find me on there. That's it.
Honestly, this genuinely has been absolutely amazing. I didn't know what to expect when we were talking today. Like I said to Mikey, there's 3 key points. This has been amazing for me, and the last thing for me, like I do these podcasts to get the information I want to know. Yeah. And again, when I had his name's Jordan as well from Dirty Otto. We're talking about just things that we didn't really go down that rabbit hole because I wasn't comfortable talking about it. But I'm so glad that we've had this conversation because, as I said, you'd have helped some people in some way, shape, or form. Realise. And even if you've helped educate some white people, that's fucking awesome for me, and that's what I care about. Honestly, thank you for taking the time to come down and actually visit me.
Pleasure.
And like I said, if I can help in any way with the homeless stuff, let me know.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, man, respect.